I wanted to play this clip. This is the editor of The Economist. Her name is Zanny Minton Beddoes, and you know, she appeared on Jon Stewart's Return to the Daily Show. And listen to what she said.
To be clear, aiding Ukraine, giving the money to Ukraine is the cheapest possible way for the US to enhance its security. It's absolutely, the fighting is being done by the Ukrainians. They're the people who are being killed. The US and Europe are supplying them weapons. And in doing so, we are pushing back against Putin. I mean, I've been to Kiev twice and lived there 30 years ago. And you can't go there and not think this is a European country that is looking westward. And for the US to abandon it now, if it does, it's almost jaw-dropping.
Her real name, by the way, is Susan Jean Elizabeth Minton Beddoes. She just goes by Zanny for short.
Zanny, yeah. Okay. That's how the Wasps do it.
We should ask Jeffrey Sachs about her because she actually used to work for him before.
No way, huh?
When he was a blue pill Jeffrey Sachs.
But, you know, so look, I mean, this is now old hat for a self-described supporter of Ukraine to just openly brag about how Ukrainians are dying on our behalf and how cheap that is. But, you know, putting that as, you know, that's like par for the course now. We've seen these clips and people say this a million times. But then she says this is the best way to protect our security. How is this in the interest of anyone's security? How is anyone's security enhanced by having this proxy war? It's just taken as like a truth, as true as the sun or the sky being blue. And Jon Stewart just sits there like a good liberal, just nods, saying yes. Like no one stops the question: how is it in our security to have this proxy war? And do we have the right to be sacrificing all these Ukrainians and calling their lives cheap? You can't even question that.
It's like it's an old talking point that should have been discredited after the counteroffensive last year failed.
Yeah,
it should have been discredited. The thing is, these bloodless reptilian shapeshifters don't actually care about Ukrainians or Ukrainian lives, and so they just keep saying it. They're just like, shovel more into the slaughterhouse, kill more. They don't even know anyone who's been to war. So these are also the people who populate the media elite. Zanny Minton Beddoes is married to Sebastian Mallaby, who is a former top Washington Post editor, who is the son of a major British diplomat who was in Germany. And she helped pillage the Polish economy after the fall of the Berlin Wall and the end of the Soviet Union. I mean, these people are still infesting our media and pumping out these talking points while the Ukrainian military is sending people with Down syndrome to the front lines because so many men have been killed and they have no bodies left. It's just sick. It's sick. And by the way, that's why Jon Stewart is allowed back on TV. Like, he'll say, oh, we need a ceasefire in Palestine. I'm sick of seeing people who support Palestine praise Jon Stewart. Like, you're not going to liberate Palestine by giving a softball interview to Zanny Minton Beddoes, who supports the entire imperial system, which has doomed Palestine to being under the rubric of American control and doomed the entire Arab world to being a replica of Jordan, which can't do anything for the majority of its citizens who are Palestinian, except state how many have been killed in Gaza in a press conference with Biden. Any Arab leader with any dignity would have taken Biden in handcuffs and hauled him off to be put on trial in Tehran. Instead, what we got was King Abdullah complaining about how many children have been killed, with Biden sitting right beside him. Biden standing, like, staring off into the distance. This dementia-addled sociopath. And Abdullah's left pleading for a ceasefire. So that's the system that Zanny Minton Beddoes represents globally. And Jon Stewart is going to campaign for Biden's reelection when the chips are down. I guarantee it. So you can't call for a ceasefire and support the system that has made this genocide possible. And so stop praising Jon Stewart. Stop giving him the benefit of the doubt. He's not back on TV for any good reason. And you can't support the Ukraine proxy war, put a Ukrainian flag in your Twitter bio and a Palestinian flag. That's just contradictory. And it shows that, like, you're incoherent. You're just a milquetoast liberal. That's like Peter Beinart liberalism. And there's a reason those people have credentials and have, some mainstream appeal and get to maybe go on Fareed Zakaria for 30 seconds to complain about what's happening.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's like, the sponsors of the Gaza genocide are making it pretty obvious. They are packaging the money for Ukraine with the package for the genocide.
Yeah.
You can't get any more explicit than that. Chuck Schumer, Mitch McConnell, Biden, they all say, these are like the same fights, and that's why you have to pass them together. They can't even they don't want to pass them separately because this is their project, enforcing hegemony by genociding Gazans and fueling this proxy war in Ukraine. And in both cases, being on the side of these ultra-nationalist supremacists who are fundamentally opposed to the equality of another major group that shares the same land. In the case of Ukraine, the Ukrainian nationalists, they don't see ethnic Russians as equal. They don't even see them as Ukrainians, and they want to wipe them out, basically. And I mean, Israel in an even more fanatic version of that, obviously. So that's whose side the U.S. is on. And there's no contradiction, therefore, between the Biden's Ukraine policy and its Gaza policy. They're exactly the same.